Here with Day9. He's done for the day. You done?
You just turned the mic so flaccidly. You done? Kind of. I
get that's the vibe I get from this interview. We're just chilling out.
Yeah, I was just I've taken off my jacket. I'm not quite as well kempt as I would need to be were I on a stage, for instance. But I'm done with casting. I might be needed for interviewing or just general
Danis
stuff. Yeah, Danis.
What? That's what I call the stuff that you do. It's very day-like.
Yeah, but the word you said was very close to the word anus, so it made me giggle because I'm juvenile.
You were cracking ass jokes all throughout before we turned on the camera.
Cracking ass jokes. You can't help but be clever, man. It just happens naturally.
Yeah, I know.
I'm waiting for the question.
Oh, right. What do you do to unwind after a big, long day of casting free-for-alls and playing HOTS games?
Well, what I do is I eat pizza, and I'm lactose intolerant, so then I fart. That's how I unwind.
And then do you blame it on others? Because that's generally how it goes with people that fart.
No, I
like taking credit for it.
I take full responsibility.
You're like a terrorist group. You take responsibility for the actions.
No, well, it's like Nietzsche, who said that man is condemned to be free because once he is thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does. And I take that very seriously as it relates to farting.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really philosophical. I don't even know if it was Nietzsche. Maybe it was Kierkegaard or something.
You have like some tape on your face.
Wouldn't surprise me. Ouch. Oh, God. Oh, don't be a hairy man and have tape on you at any point. It actually hurts to be removed.
Do you need to walk past, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're interviewing. Just go ahead. It's fine.
You're on camera now.
Oh, am I going the right way?
No, you're not.
Definitely not. No,
Wow.
that's a dead end.
Well,
Sorry.
strong
Bye.
cameo.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
There's no question.
I'm so angry at her.
I'm not. It's
She
fine.
destroyed our interview that I honestly feel like we were...
mojo. We had good mojo going, I think.
Yeah.
What are you doing for fun these days? I haven't talked to you in a long time, man.
He's gonna guilt
Like on
trip me in
camera.
an interview and be like, "Well, you never respond to my Skype chats anymore." I'm like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm really sorry. I've been meaning to get back to you." But
Did you remove me?
no, you're still on there. No, I hover over your portrait every now and again, but then I get anxious and close Skype and cry and write about it in my diary. But what I've been doing with my free time mainly is playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. It's a lot of fun.
Do you go to live tournaments?
I have been I've been to a Grand Prix, which I did.
Wow, you're serious?
Well,
They still running those?
I mean, it's open entry, so it's not like impressive. I was just like, "Here's $40," and they're like, "You're in." So I
Or
bought.
pre-release?
I've done a lot of pre-releases. I did the Grand Prix San Jose, and I actually have a video where I just tell the story of it, and it's completely sensationalized and awesome, and you should definitely check that out.
Which set?
Return to Ravnica. It was the team Grand Prix, so I went with my buddy Tristan and Case, who are far better players than I, and you play as a team of 3 against another team of 3.
Oh, I know that one. And you guys get the same limited set, and you have to build 3 decks, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Look at that. I know what you're talking about. And do you get recognized and stuff by people there?
I mean, sometimes. I mean, I'm kind of an ass, and I wear a Day9 TV shirt, which is kind of like attending a party with a name tag. But I don't own a lot of clothes, and I just wore it. So yeah. And very similar to StarCraft convention, people are just really nice. They're just like, "Oh, I really like your show."
How is the MTG like atmosphere, the community, the competition?
It's a really weird mix because, I mean, I think a lot of people know that I played poker really seriously for like 4 or 5 years.
Zengel, Day9.
Yeah, ZNGEL, because pretty much you're never going to run into that conflict problem. You know those people who want a name like Fortuna, but then like it's taken? So I have to be like Fortuna 83,000 and just hope that there's not another person who does that. You never have the problem when your name is ZNGEL until you record this interview. So I played under that name in poker for a while. And you get this weird personality that develops around probabilistic
Oh yeah, I know
games.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then there's the other
Fucking top deckers, so lucky.
right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so in a sense, luck is just probability taken personally. It's not that it's random or it's bullshit. It's just that there is an expected outcome that's based upon some probability, right? Like 40% of the time, something bad will happen. Since 60% is more than half the time, I should proceed, right? Like you have to be comfortable with that form of analysis. But what's weird is that you get people who will, like on a scale of like 1 to 10, will think that, like, I am a level 8 good at this game. When in reality, they're like a level 6 good. So every time they lose, they're like, I was getting unlucky, I was getting unlucky, I was getting unlucky. And then when they finally win, they're like, see, I always knew I was an 8. So it's really weird. You get a lot of that sort of personality in Magic, where you get people who still struggle with the whole probabilistic stuff. But by and large, I'd say that it's really similar to the StarCraft community. It's like the very intellectual approach. There's a lot of different strategies that are there, and people love
It's a deep
discussing.
game.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be deep with like the amount of cards that they have, and it's just really, really brilliantly designed. But I will say my absolute favorite thing is the fact that I'm a powerful wizard who's casting spells, and I love that feeling. Like when I cast a fireball.
Do you yell it, like in the animes?
Yeah, I actually scream at the table because I'm too afraid to make eye contact with the guy. And when I want to make eye contact, I just sort of look up and to the right, like this. Very much so like Mercury Rising.
How do you shuffle your deck? Do you do the perfect ruffle shuffle like the Japanese players?
I'm awful at shuffling. Basically, I look like someone who's like kneading dough. I just sort of like push the cards against each other until it's flat, and then I hand it to my opponent to shuffle and trust that they'll do a better job.
You know, like, did poker teach you anything about handling unluckiness? Because I actually played poker in New York for a living for a year online, back when it was legal. And and I remember never feeling the emotional low of hitting like 1%, like you just get sucked out on 3 times and you're just like, fuck. Do you think you can handle your emotions better? Like there's no tilt quite like poker tilt?
I mean, I have tilt, but it definitely it puts things into a certain amount of perspective, because I mean, part of the reason why Ken never got upset is that you were like a super mega bankroll nit. You'd play with like 40,000 buy-ins, like
No, I tilted like crazy. You know, I can tell you funny stories about that too. But.
Oh yeah, well I mean, like you're gonna tilt, right? It's like it's normal. It's kind of the goal.
But you're so positive. How do you tilt?
Well, okay, so StarCraft and poker cause that feeling of like frustration, anger. Like a lot of times in StarCraft, you'll feel like you're hitting a brick wall and there's nothing you can do. In poker, you feel like you're making all the right decisions, and mathematically you're making amazing decisions, but you're getting screwed. And I wouldn't say that the goal is to learn how to not be angry in a sense. It's to be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable emotions. Like when I get mad, I mean, I totally get mad. Like just as bouncy and cheerful and positive as I can be in a daily or something like that, there are times when I am that equally frustrated or bummed or upset. And it's just like, okay, this is a temporary thing, and I'm not going to conclude anything dramatic out of it, you know? It's not like if I have like a terrible run in StarCraft, I'll be like, God, I'm so, oh, that was a terrible game, But I'll sort of stop and make sure that I sort of corral myself into that and not do something like, I suck at this game and I chose the wrong career and I'll never be good at anything in my life. Which
I chose the wrong race.
Oh yeah, I chose the wrong race.
That's a popular one.
What is Blizzard doing to me personally?
You gotta fire off some emails to...
Yeah. Dear Dustin Browder, you may as well call it Heart of the Immortal, because if it's still in there, then your game's fucking bad. Sincerely,
Exactly.
Junior high school student, random person
Or
who's
the-
only had hard experiences through StarCraft.
Or the better excuse, which is, if only I was in a higher league, I wouldn't get these crazy builds and I would be able to win.
Yeah, can I? That is actually the most mind-boggling thing fucking ever to me. When someone says, I am a mid-level platinum player, but I play at a high diamond.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't mean anything.
Like I am terrible at basketball, but if only I could play at the NBA level, I wouldn't have these idiots sinking lucky shots on me.
Well, I mean, it's even more than that. It's like so a rating system correlates with skill, or at least it should, unless it's a really bad system. But it's not a measure of skill. It's not a representation of skill. Similarly, running a certain amount of distance it is not a representation of how healthy you are, but it does kind of correlate. You generally can run farther if you're a healthier person. But it's equivalent to someone saying, well, I ran 3 miles today, but I ran it like I was running 5 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, no, you just ran 3 miles. And when people are like, oh yeah, I'm a high platinum, but I really play, I'm like, no, you're high platinum. And you can say something like, it's totally reasonable to say, like, I have been in Diamond, or I hit low masters once, or the players I'm getting paired against are low masters, but this sort of like, I'm always doing better than what this number says. It's like, well, it doesn't measure how better you're doing. It's just a rating system, right? It's a measure of progress.
So I talked to Rotterdam about this. I always get them confused, I guess.
Yeah, they're basically the same person.
And it's about casters playing a lot on the ladder, and you're running into professional gamers and taking games off them. Have you ever done that? And then have them be like, fuck, I lost to a caster. You ever get that?
No, I always smurf when I play, with the exception of a couple times on Heart of the Swarm, because I only have 1 beta key, so I made it under Day9, and then...
Smart move.
Terrible move, man.
You the real one, man? Do you get that a lot?
Basically every game, and it's not that I'm frustrated at the other person. It's that when I play StarCraft, actually, I kind of want to like play StarCraft, but now I'm like having a conversation. It's kind of like split.
Just lie.
What?
I'm not Day9. I just am his biggest fan.
Oh, it's weird. Well,
he's amazing.
That actually literally never occurred to me. People are like, "Hey, are you Day9?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Dude, it's cool to meet you." Like everyone's like, generally really normal and pleasant about it. That's actually. Never occurred to me to be like,
no, fuck that guy. He sucks.
No, fuck you. I hope you die. And then he's like, this is not Day9. You would never do that. And I'm like, yes, anonymity. Until I stream myself playing under that exact same name. I was like, that was Day9. He's such a jerk.
You'd be like, I took this name so he couldn't have it. That asshole. Farts all the time at me.
I'm going to fart soon. The pizza's digesting.
Okay, just hold it in.
No. So I won't do that.
Okay, so this is the last game, the last big event of the year. This year's been
ignoring Home Story Cup.
Oh right, yeah, in North America. Yeah, nice save, right?
Yeah, I mean they aren't squids going on, but it's also European.
Okay. This year has been a bit of a roller coaster of emotions.
MLG also has an online cup that's running right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, kind of. People have been freaking out a little bit. Sky's falling.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden these balance changes come out and everyone loves it again. Like, what do you feel about that, and how do you feel about the longevity of StarCraft 2?
I mean, StarCraft 2 is fine. I mean, I even heard people talking. The huge thing with StarCraft is that there is this stupid oversaturation. And what bothers me is a lot of...
Really? 8 tournaments in 5 weeks? Too many?
Well, that's actually... You're undercounting, right? Because, like... Okay, so let me just do November. So it went MLG Dallas, Lone Star Clash, Battle.net World Championships, DreamHack, and IEM Singapore at the same time. And... following that was IPL. In the midst of all that, you had GSL running constantly, NASL running constantly, a whole bunch of other tournaments running constantly, Iron Squid.
Pro League
catching.
GSTL too.
GSTL. I mean, and that's not including all just the random one-time or so events. Like, I mean, the Thor Invitational was this weekend. I didn't even know that the Thor Invitational was a thing, but Apollo was casting, so he was telling me about it. And when that happens, you're splitting up viewers. So in a sense, if you look, like the StarCraft viewership it's by and large just growing. I mean, it's not exploding, but it's growing. So growth is good. But before, when there was one tournament and nothing 2 weeks ahead or behind, everyone would tune in and you'd get 80, 90,000 concurrents. Now, you have to be content with 40, 50,000 concurrents, or in some cases 20 or 30. And that's still fantastic because if you look overall in the month, there is a stupid amount of viewership. Like, honestly, I challenge you at home to look at November last year, to take just the huge tournaments you can think of, try to get some information on their viewership. And then look at all the tournaments that have happened in this November, the ones that I just listed off. And you just add those numbers up about how many total views and viewers were tuning in, you're going to get a bigger number. But it's kind of funny that it's something that a lot of the casters talk about, where once you are assigned a label, It's very, very, very difficult to break this label.
What's your label?
The easiest one I think would be, I remember there was a tournament that I did maybe 18 months ago, a year ago, something like that, where the audio compressor was either turned off or broken. It just wasn't working for one of the games. So in case you don't know what an audio compressor is, it's where it takes soft noises and loud noises and just makes them all the same volume. So if you whisper, people can hear it really easily. And if you scream, it doesn't blow their ears out. It just brings it to the same normal level. And so that was off. So I got really excited in a game and I yelled. And I was yelling a lot because it was kind of a loud area. So I was just screaming a lot. Apparently I was like blowing out everyone's ears. So then this label came in where it's he screams constantly. That's all he does is scream. And, there's some memes made, all in good fun, it was like, Day9 scream about everything. It was pretty funny, but it was weird in the weeks after where you talk normally or whisper in intensity, and then you shout about something once, and people just go, there it is. All he ever does is yell. And
Look for it.
Yeah, they look for it specifically, and because I'm weird and analytic, I did a test where I said, okay, so for these 2 tournaments, I'm just going to do no yelling. Only whispering or, talking like this. An intense battle. And then at the 3rd tournament, I made a point to do a lot of yelling in just 1 or 2 of the matches in day 1. And instantly people are like, oh, he just never stops yelling. It's one of those weird things where I can say, okay, definitively I have abated this from that one tournament. And yet still, people just look for that one specific thing. So a lot of the doom and gloom is just completely self-created silliness.
Sky's falling.
Yeah, it's hilarious to know that all the features that Blizzard's making, they've been in production for months, over a year.
They need to be a little faster on this stuff. Come on, right?
Huh?
They need to be a little faster, though. We want that shit out faster.
Well, I mean,
everyone does.
I'm never going to say no to that. I want all the great things freer and faster.
Yeah.
And in
pay me money to
double
have those
HD.
things.
Yeah, give me $20 and I'll play your shitty StarCraft 2 expansion, douche Blizzard. This is fun.
Yeah.
But it's been in development for such a long time. But then you get all this controversy springs up, and then a week later, all the announcements and the releases and all the patches and start coming out, and I was just shocked that anyone would say, oh, Blizzard hurt us. And a lot of people said that, which was weird to me.
You mean they hurt us, and then they decided to put all this shit into development in 3 days and put it out?
Yeah, I mean, getting a fucking blog post up on Blizzard's thing probably takes a week to 10 days just of okay, is the copyright? Is it good? Everyone's okay with the wording? What about the images? Images look good? Is it consistent with our quality standards? All right, good. It's a good post. It takes longer to do that than it does for the amount of time between the freak out and then the release of these sorts of things. So yeah, it's a little silly. I honestly think that the solution is not to go and freak out and panic, but it's to become more proactive. And I will say that the audience has become much more lethargic and complacent lately. So, for instance, whenever there was something like, I don't know, here's a story of a player at MLG by John Gaudiosi in Forbes. John Gaudiosi writes this article. First few ones he did, people were like, oh, linking it, sending it to all their friends, reading it, talking about it, posting about it. There was this incredible excitement for showing up in mainstream press. And then nowadays you get another article like, E.G. Suppy recently was in Forbes. And the amount of elation and excitement about it is people are like, oh, there's another thing in Forbes. Oh, they've been covering gaming for so long. And again, it's this sort of yeah, well, that's the way things are. Can we please grow this scene a little more so we can get higher than Forbes? And it's no, Forbes, that's you're there. If you're at Forbes and New York Times and all those other things, you don't get higher. You're not gonna name a country after the Suppy or something. That is a great way to get coverage, but of course it requires the audience to do that participation equally so, to sort of step in and comment and say, this is great read, I'm really excited about this, because that is the sort of stuff that creates really good events. I'm even here at NASL, and I'm blown away at all the content that they're having these like hilarious outtake bloopers, like the mining out stuff, the sweet intro video. I'm trying to think of some of the other segments that they had. The Roddy Pose one, it's like a lot of fun, well-produced content, and the only way that's able to happen is with the support of sponsors and some, other things, like viewership or subscription passes and that sort of thing. But by and large, the only way to really get the money in the door is for people to show up and attend notable things like articles and publications being released, and to do things like show up and just cheer and be excited, like things that are quantifiable instead of, letters to sponsors are nice, but what they'd much rather have is
Twitter followers.
Yeah, or 100,000 views for E.G. Suppy's article in 24 hours. So that way, Team Evil Geniuses can go and say, hey, look, our players can garner this sort of popularity. Instead of people saying, oh yeah, I saw that, but I'd rather just watch his stream.
Do you think that the obsession with growing the scene and esports and all that kind of stuff detracts from people just being able to sit down and enjoy stuff? Do you think that kind of like is in the back of everyone's minds and they should just like kind of relax and just enjoy the game for what it is sometimes?
I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. Yeah, I mean, certainly all this stuff I'm saying is like, please help grow esports. That's great if you want to. A lot of times it never even dawns on them that they could have influence. They'll just be sitting quietly attending their high school class or
turn off your ad block, everyone.
Well, ad block is like a direct way. Like every ad you block is like a quarter penny removed from.
You're literally stealing money from me by ad blocking on TL. Literally.
Dude.
Am I distorting the message a little bit, maybe?
Dude, I will just note that I appreciate your use of the word literally.
I know you enjoy that.
Entirely metaphoric context.
Yeah. You're taking the ad block is coming in and it's taking the money from my pocket.
It's represented as like a carrier pigeon that comes in, is like, yeah! Like snatches up a penny from your table, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? I was gonna buy candy at a grocery store with that later, and then Ken can't eat his candy.
Yeah.
You're
stealing candy from a hotbed.
Burgeoning battleship of a man. Exercise. Stop eating your candy. Take that money and buy some celery,
I actually
man.
eat a ton of candy. I go to this Mexican store down the street. I buy like 30 peach rings every other day.
I'm not a big fan of candy.
No?
I don't like sweets. I like salty things.
Like what? I'm serious. Like what?
I like salty things, like the fighting game community. Was that?
Damn. Capcom's gonna be at IPL 5. They're not salty anymore. IPL 6 or whatever. Right? Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to say that I actually watch a lot of Wednesday night fights and stuff. So yeah.
That was still good though. I didn't see that one coming.
That's the problem, is that I'm actually not good at making fun of things. Not as good as I wish I was. It's something I need to work on. Take that. Well, actually, I like the Level Up series crew, and they're really nice, and they do really cool stuff.
People listen to you, so you can't just make fun of stuff because I can make fun of stuff. But then if you do, then they're like, oh, Day9 said what about our community? And then they'll be sad, and you'll have to apologize on a daily, like a special voice announcement. Like I don't actually hate you guys.
I don't know. I actually don't. I don't hate a lot of things. I'm trying to think of the things that really grind my balls.
Al Qaeda.
Yeah, I get real upset every time I'm like starting a daily. I'm like, Al Qaeda messes with my internet again.
Earthquakes.
I'll sit helplessly like a typical suburban white male.
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes. Yeah, certainly. I was
race cars, lasers.
No, I love both race cars and lasers. Those are sweet.
What do you do? Like, give us a day. What do you do on like a average day for you? Next problem is this interview is already pretty long. We'll ask one more question after this.
What's an average day like for me?
Yeah. What?
Serious answer? Or?
Yeah. What do you normally do on an average day? Because I think people don't get this side of you, so we need to know. Like tomorrow, what are you gonna do?
Tomorrow, I'm going to return to where I live, catch up on the worky things.
You wanna say your address out? Because
sure, it's 3175 South Hoover Street, number 109, Los Angeles, California 90007.
Get some visitors.
Well, it's a mailbox, so people can show up to the box and look at it.
Nice.
It's great. It's a great box.
We'll bleep that out for Al Qaeda.
Because what if they put lag in my mailbox and I opened it up and I was like, ah,
BNet lag?
yeah. I open it up and I'm like, Len. I think I answered your question of what a typical day is like for me.
That's perfect. Okay. I think we wrapped this up.
Turn the video up. Fucking cut it.
We're good. Thank you for the interview.
Hey, it was good. Woo.
Don't kill yourself working too hard.
Yeah. I do have to work on that.
Yeah.
I'm like not good at that.
Okay.
Are you still recording?
I think he's still